Hi everyone, it's Dawn. Welcome back to my channel. So this is going to be a chatty one, and I'm going to do a one palette makeup look too while I chat with you. I do have a topic. My subscriber friend Laura was talking to me in the comments of my last video, and she brought up being in a makeup rut and what do I do when I find myself in a makeup rut? And I thought that was like such a good question, and I started to think about it. And I actually told her after I thought about it for a while that she gave me a good video idea. So keep those ideas coming, guys, because I'm always looking for inspiration for videos. But I have found myself in makeup ruts, as we all do. And if you are a makeup lover like I am, or a skincare lover for that matter, it's usually a simple fix. Something as simple as rotating your makeup around, and that is one of my tips, and I'll go into that more. But another tip is focus on skincare. And I forgot, I filmed this intro after I filmed the video, and that's a big thing that I forgot to mention, because sometimes if we're not taking really good care of our skin, which we can get in a skincare rut as well, like you don't realize your skin might be looking dull, or you just, like it hasn't occurred to you yet. That happens to all of us. Change up your skincare. Try using less actives if you're using a lot of actives, and focus on moisturization and the health of your barrier. Or if it's that you need to start using more actives like glycolics, BHAs and AHAs, or even like a mini peel at home or something like that to reveal that brighter skin beneath. Because sometimes that happens to me. I'll notice my skin's looking dull, and then I'll think, gosh, when was the last time I did like a little mini peel on my skin? So sometimes that's all I need to do. And then my foundation looks better and everything looks better and brighter, and I feel better. So that's a big tip that I forgot to include in the video as I'm filming my makeup. So I didn't want to forget to mention that. And if you're a makeup lover like I am, I like to look at makeup, and I like to look at color combinations, and I like to kind of banter about makeup. Like I used to always joke, like my girlfriends and I, when we're together and we're having lunch, we can have like all these serious conversations, and then we always end up going back to makeup or beauty. And I'm like, that's us, all beauty all the time. You know, it's like we just love makeup, the process of putting it on, the creativity that goes along with that. Another makeup rut is like when my dad got sick. So over the winter, I told all of you that he was in the hospital for like 2.5 months. He's still recovering. There's still stuff going on. And during the crisis point of all that, getting calls that he was like in the ER again, like he'd go home and end up back in the ER and then hospitalized again. And then going from the hospital to rehab centers and so on and so forth. And my mind was not on makeup. And I did get into makeup rut, but it's because I was in a crisis. And I have a girlfriend who went through something recently, and it was a big kind of crisis for her, a lot of big changes in her life all of a sudden. And she's like, honestly, I can't get excited about things like makeup and things like that. And I said to her, because I believe this to be the truth, that eventually you will. Like no matter what you're going through, it becomes a normal to you, and you sort of stop feeling like you're in a panic or a crisis, and you resume like normal activities and things that you loved if you truly love something, whether it's knitting or exercising, going to the gym, animals, you know, that kind of thing. Whatever you're investing your time in, when you're in a crisis, you focus on the crisis, but you don't usually stay in crisis permanently, right? But those are two different makeup ruts that are really hard to get out of, and you kind of have to wait them out. That's not what I'm going to be talking about in this video. I'm going to be talking about just your run-of-the-mill everyday makeup ruts and how to get yourself out of them. And then I wanted to do a one palette makeup look using one palette for my whole face. And I've done this video before using my Anastasia Italian Summer palette. I love that little palette. It just has one bronzer, one highlighter, and one blush, but they work really well for eyes too. And it's a beautiful one palette makeup look. And I purchased that palette after I used up my Cali contour palette in the light shade. It comes in two shades, light or like light medium or medium dark. I had the light one, and I used that palette up, loved it. Then I finished it, so then I decided to try something different, and I moved on to the Italian Summer palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. And I really like that palette. And that palette is really quick because there's only 3 shades in it. Takes all the guesswork out and you can get out the door. That's probably my fastest out the door makeup look. I decided this time, because it's been a couple of years since I've had the Cali contour palette, to pick up a new one. And this time I picked up the medium dark. And you might all be thinking, I am the lightest person you've ever seen. And why would I get it in medium dark? And I decided that the medium dark doesn't look quite so dark. Like, I definitely feel like I can use it. It is really different than the light medium. And I'll explain how I feel about it after I use it compared to the light medium. But I'm gonna do a one palette makeup look, as you can see here, using just this palette. So it does have 4 matte shades. It has this shade right here, which is a lighter matte, and it's kind of a pinky brown, and it works really well as an eyeshadow or as a bronzer. I've just used this for the first time, so I'm really just kind of unpacking what I'm thinking about it after using it for the first time. So I hope that's helpful to you. And then you have this shade right here, and it is a blush shade. It's really like, I don't know, a summertime, really a warm terracotta blush. In the light palette, it has very similar shades, but really lighter. And this shade is much lighter, it's peachier. And then it also has the 2 bronzers, but in that one of the bronzers is a really kind of taupey gray, and I kind of miss that. But this one doesn't have that. And then this one has like the more matte chocolate brown. And they're both mattes, really creamy. Everything is very, very, very creamy and not opaque when you put it on. It's really easy to sheer everything out and give you just that really natural glowy look. So you can use these to contour. You can use this one, or you can use it however you want, but I can use this one as a blush or a bronzer. Then you have this shimmer shade down here, which is kind of bronzy. See that? Really bronzy and glowy. And it's super pretty. And then up here, you have a highlighter. And this is really different than the light one, because in the light palette, this is like MAC Soft and Gentle, where it's a very light champagne. And this is how it looks in this palette. It's definitely more golden with like a little bit of a peachy shift. So the palettes are called the same thing. The Cali Contour palette, one is lighter, one is deeper, but they're very different palettes. Then down here in the light palette, you have just a light matte powder that looks like ethereal from Hourglass. Super pretty, really pretty on lighter skin tones. And this one is a banana powder. It's actually called Banana on the back of the palette. These have names. And this is actually a banana powder. And banana powder does work for me. It's very brightening, and it works really well on medium and deeper skin tones. So I'm gonna use this as my one palette makeup look. And along the way, I'm gonna share with you my 4 or 5 tips to get yourself out of a makeup rut. So let's just jump in and get started. So I already have my foundation on, and I am using the Amazonian clay from Tarte. And I do have the Amazonian clay brush to apply it. I love this brush, and it's perfect with this foundation. This foundation sort of has like a whipped, I don't know, it seems whipped to me, and it does give you a soft matte finish. And I really loved Tarte foundations about 3 or 4 years ago. I tried all of them. Well, they might have some new ones now, but I tried the Found Sealer, I tried this one, and I tried the Face Tape, and I like them all for different reasons. But this one is my favorite. It does give me that soft matte finish that I really love. And I just rotated this back in for a little while, because that is my first tip to stay excited about your makeup collection. And it's the thing that I try to avoid the most, and that is looking at everything that you have out and also looking at everything that you have put away or stashed away for a while. Because if you're like me, I do rotate my palettes and things like that based on the time of year. So if it's like summertime, I put away those deep wine and khaki plummy palettes that I really like to wear in the fall and winter months. And some of the really cool palettes I think are really pretty in the winter too. But you want to get everything out and take an inventory and declutter at least once or twice a year. Pull out things that you know you'll never use again, that you just didn't like, or they just don't suit you. And be careful not to, like, if there's anything you're on the fence about, keep it for a while longer. But if there's something that you have not grabbed in many seasons, then I would say get rid of it. But pull out your inventory, take stock of what you have, and you're going to find a lot of things. And you're going to find a lot of products that you put away, but that can be used in the summer, even though they were kind of put away for a while. And that's what I did. I took out some foundations that I know are still fresh and not beyond their expiration date, and especially the ones that I really liked, like this one. So I pulled it back out, and then I put a few of my other foundations that I have been using for a long time. So anyways, I put some away, pulled some new products out, and I'm excited again, and I don't feel that I need to purchase any new foundations. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the lighter of the two contour shades. This one's definitely deeper, and it's more, they're both matte. This one's more of a satin matte, where this one I think is just more like, I don't know, it's not a flat matte, but it seems like it doesn't have any like satin finish to it like this one does. And I'm taking this one on a fluffy brush, and I'm just gonna start by putting this in my crease and kind of contouring out my crease. And while I'm doing this, I'll tell you my second tip to get out of your makeup rut, and that would be to rotate your makeup either daily or weekly. So what I like to do is keep kind of a larger cosmetics pouch by my vanity, and weekly, or whatever videos I want to film at the time, which also helps kind of drive what makeup I'm using. For you, it might be what you're wearing that day. I put makeup in the pouch based on what I want to circulate into my routine that week or even that day. So you could do that daily and just rotate your makeup based on what you're wearing, like set out your clothes that you're gonna wear the next day, and then plan your makeup around it and put it in that pouch and take out what you used the day before. Or even like something like this that would go with anything you're wearing, you'd rotate that in for maybe, you know, a week or a few days. And it's a good way to revisit products on a regular basis, because if you're reaching for the same products daily, that's when you start to feel like you're in a rut. Like I'll be like, oh, I love this product at first, and I'm talking to you guys about it, and people are asking me what I'm wearing, and I'm so excited about it. And then after a while, I just sort of lose that excitement, or I feel like I need to freshen it up in some other way by maybe if it's a lipstick, pairing it with a different blush and eyeshadow palette, and keep using it, or rotate it out and rotate something else in. I think that really helps me stay out of a makeup rut. I think that's a really pretty contour shade. It's sort of a pinky brown, not quite orangey. I don't know how it's coming off on camera. I'm just swirling this in the outer corner too, and just keeping that very simple. And I think I'm gonna continue with my eyes in a second, but what I'm gonna do is take the deeper shade here, and I'm gonna pick it up on like a smaller Morphe contour brush, and I'm just gonna be careful with this because I haven't used this one before. And the light medium palette, the darker shade, works really well for me, but in the medium dark palette, I'm just not sure how dark it'll be on me. But it is summertime, and I can use that lighter palette in the fall and winter and in the summer, but it doesn't really make me look like I have a tan or anything like that. And I'm just gonna kind of bronze with it across my forehead like I do. I'll blend that in a little bit more so it doesn't look like I have like a line across my forehead. And then I'm just gonna take it here. I used to contour a lot lower, like below my cheek, but now I'm kind of going on the bottom of my actual cheekbone because I feel like it decreases the space and it lifts everything. It like dries your eye up, where if I contour lower, I feel like it just elongates everything and drags my face down. So it's right on my cheekbone and a little bit below. And I think that dark shade is okay, even on my lighter complexion. And I'm bringing it up into my temple area too. Okay, that's all I'm gonna do for that. And I think it's a really nice shade. It's definitely bronzy, but it's not orangey. Like you can see the lighter shade, the lighter one that I have here is definitely more pinky brown than the contour shade. Okay, next thing I'm gonna do is go into this shade right here in the lighter palette. This is a really light shade and it's good for like an all over face product. If you have a deeper complexion, this would work for you. It's called Banana and it is the shade of like banana powder, where it has just like that little bit of yellow in it, and it's really brightening. So I'm going to take that on my concealer brush and I'm just going to brush this beneath my eyes, and I'm going to pick a little of it up on this fluffier Morphe brush, and it's a little bit dusty, and I'm going to apply this like just to set my foundation around my nose and brighten up this area. This is an area where a lot of makeup artists like to really highlight and brighten. And since this is a matte and it doesn't have any glow to it, I think it's perfect for just kind of setting this area. And also you could do like your forehead. This may be a little bit dark for me. Usually I definitely go for something lighter than like a banana powder, but I don't know, I don't think it's totally wrong either. Now I'm gonna go in with this shade right here, and it looks like that. It's just kind of a rusty orangey shade, and it might be a little bit dark on me for a blush, so I'm gonna pick it up very careful to see. And I'm just gonna apply it to the apples and then drag it back just over that contour that I applied. Okay, my third tip is, if you're like me, a lot of the makeup I purchase, I've read a lot of reviews, or I've seen YouTubers that I love while using it, or I've even just like searched it out. Like say that I wanted to try this palette and I search it into the search on YouTube and find other people using it, and then I make a decision if I want to purchase it. But if I already own a product and I'm not really remembering why I purchased it or how I used it when I first got it, because I used a ton when I first got it and then I put it away and now it's just kind of sitting there and I can't really remember or think what to do with it, I love to revisit the YouTubers that I love and see how they use it. But sometimes when I type it into the search, like if I can't remember why, and I see different YouTubers, sometimes I always like to watch ladies who are over 40. If there's someone who's like my age or over 40, I'm 54, so I'm quite a bit over 40, but 40 on up, those are the videos I like to watch the most. And I'll watch a tutorial. I'll usually find the one that inspired me to purchase it in the first place, or I'll find a new YouTuber who's like around my age and I'll start binge watching all their videos. You have to be careful though, because you'll start wanting to buy a lot of products. Like if you find someone who you kind of click with on YouTube and they feel like, oh, I wish I knew her in real life and I'd be friends with her and we'd talk about the makeup we love, yada, yada, yada. You know how that goes. And then you suddenly kind of want to buy things that they're using because you're excited about this new YouTuber that you're watching. So you have to be a little bit careful too. Like try not to do that. Resist the urge to buy everything they show, because I do have to resist that temptation, because I've done that before. I've like purchased a full face of makeup that someone shares on their channel because I think they're so cute and it looks so good on them and I'm thinking it would be good for me, you know, and it's like an impulse buy totally. I don't think that blush came off too dark on me at all. I think I could definitely use this also as an eyeshadow, like in the outer corner here. I might do that just to kind of deepen that up a little bit and add some more dimension, but let me see what else I need to do. Now I'm going to take the more champagne color here, more golden. In the other Cali Contour palette, the lighter one, this particular shade is very close to the color of MAC Soft and Gentle. It's a lighter champagne. It's not quite so golden. And I really loved that one a lot. That was one shade that I completely used up. So let's see, I hope I like this one as much. I'm just gonna tap this in with using the brush that I contoured with, and I'm just gonna tap this above my cheekbone. Ooh, it is really golden. I don't know if I like that. It's really golden. Can you see that? I'm gonna blend it in with a fluffier, clean brush. Okay, now I think it's a little bit better. It just came off really pigmented and really golden. Now I'm gonna take the same brush and just sort of blend that out. I'm looking in my magnifying mirror now, and I don't think it looks bad. I'm gonna blend it a little bit more. This is what this one looks like. It's just really soft and peachy, and I think that would be a really pretty blush. And it's sort of sheer, where this one's more matte and opaque. And I think that this would come off a lot like the Extra Dimension blushes from MAC, or the bronzer from Bare Minerals, where it's sheer and it just gives you this like wash of color, but it's definitely not opaque like what I've put on already. So that would have been a good choice too for my cheeks. Okay, now I'm just gonna take the banana powder one more time on that concealer brush, and I'm gonna apply it to the inner part of my eyelid just to keep it nice and bright. And since it is banana powder, it definitely is brightening. It's really pretty, actually. Do a little in the arch of my brow too. Okay, my next tip to get you out of a makeup rut is using color in different ways. And I have a good tip for you to help you figure out how to do that. So using the palette that I'm using today, if you were to look at the box or the cover of the palette, it looks like this. And you can see the palette has all the shades in it that are on the cover. And you could do a look replicating what you see here, like use a little bit of this and really sheer it out. You saw how I did that with my blush. So it looks very pigmented in the palette, but you can definitely just go with a soft touch and then maybe use this over it as your highlight, or do what I did and use a little bit of the golden highlight and create that look of like the sunset. And then this, I don't know, if I'd like something more vanilla and lighter, like that's in the lighter of these two palettes, I kind of miss, even though I've only used this just now, that it doesn't have that light shade like that. It has a more like banana or yellow shade, which is better for medium and deeper skin tones, but it still works. And you can just use that to kind of create, you know, the light and glow like the sky. Then like another thing is like this greeting card, which has a peacock, and you can see it has some like really like blue right there. I don't know, like oceany blue. And then there's sort of like yellow here and green. And then you could take a really light shade, like, and put it on the inner part of your eye and use some, like maybe a shade like this for an eyeliner. Or use the teal blue in the outer corner and then line with a lighter green. And you could create a really beautiful look looking at things around you. It doesn't even have to be a card or a cosmetics box. It could be looking out your own window and seeing your flower baskets and how they're arranged, and then choose colors that complement one another in that basket and try to replicate it on your eyes. I think it's a great way to get excited about playing with different shades. Some people are really talented at doing that. So watching YouTubers who are really good at that is another tip. Or take a palette that you aren't really sure about what colors you're going to put together and swatch the different shades on your arm to get a really good idea of how they look on you, and then look at them and think to yourself how you're going to put them together. Sometimes I actually have to write a number, like in the palette, like 1, 2, 3, 4. So I know where I'm gonna apply each color after I've thought it out. And some of my palettes are permanently like numbered, so I can remember different looks. Like if I'm watching Nisha, Sugar Puff and Stuff, do an eye look. She does such beautiful eye looks and I always want to replicate them. So I start writing numbers in my palettes to kind of remember how she did it. So that way I could replicate it on my own eyes. This is a smudger brush. And I'm going to take the shade I used for contouring and bronzing and pick it up on my smudger brush. And I'm going to smudge it along my lower lash line. It definitely is a pinky brown as I'm looking at it. It doesn't come off that way in the palette when you're looking at the palette, but it definitely is a lighter pinky brown. And I'm just using that right beneath my lower lash and just kind of carrying it up into the outer crease here. Now I think I'm going to take the golden highlighter and just tap it right in the middle of my eye as like a spotlight because it's got a little bit of that golden yellow tone to it. Again, looks like a sunset or a horizon. You guys may remember a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I purchased the chocolate Better Than Sex mascara and eyeliner because I really wanted like a good brown, and this looked like it would be a really good brown, and that's what it looks like. And I do really like it. It's not quite as light and chocolatey of a brown when I apply it as I would like it to be, but it's still a good brown. And I really like this eyeliner a lot. I forgot how much I liked the black Better Than Sex eyeliner. It just glides on, and this is the brown one. And I think it'll be really pretty with this line, my upper lash line. And I like to go really thin and then just kind of do a little wing. And then I kind of go back. So it's thickest, obviously, like in the outer corner here. Okay, now I'm going to use the Better Than Sex mascara, and it looks exactly like the pink Better Than Sex mascara, except that this one is the chocolate brown. It has the nice, it looks like a natural fiber brush. I'm not sure, it looks like that. And it's like that hourglass shape. And it's a larger brush and it's very firm, but it does grab all my lashes and it doesn't really make a mess when I use it. So that's how it looks with like one really good coat. And then obviously my eye with no mascara on, it makes quite a difference. And my last tip for you is one that I'm saying with bated breath, because when I was thinking about this video, I know a lot of people, like our impulse, and mine too, is when I'm feeling like I'm in a makeup rut, I feel like I need to run out and get something new. You know, like I'll go perusing Ulta or Sephora, walk around, look at everything, swatch things, look at things, and purchase something. And I think that's gonna like change everything and I'll get out of my makeup rut. But what that really does is brings that new product home, and I'll be using it along with the products I've been using in my rut. And I start to get bored of it, just like I did with all the products that I have already. Like when I'm not refreshing my stash enough and I'm just grabbing the same thing every day, it will eventually become like that. It'll fall into the drawer or the vanity and just be sitting there, and you'll no longer really notice it or love it. So I always warn against that because, well, I warn myself against that. Like I'm like, oh, I need a new product. I need to get something new. Instead, this last tip is that instead of doing that, when you want a product, like there's a product that you've seen, maybe somebody used it on YouTube and you thought, oh, I would really like that product, and you read reviews of it and you're still thinking that's a product that I would really like. For some reason, eyeshadow palettes always come to mind for me, or like some sort of new range of blush, because those are the products you know, like a lipstick, I don't even think twice I'll purchase a lipstick, you know, because it doesn't cost very much. So think of the products that you may have thrown into your Ulta cart. Like I'll watch a YouTube video and I'll see someone use a product that I think I really, really want. And I'll put it in my cart, but I won't purchase it. It'll just be sitting there in my cart. Or I'll put it on my wish list. And then I read reviews on it. I might watch a couple more videos on it. And then I'm pretty sure that that's a product that I'd like to try. And if it's an eyeshadow palette, you know, and it's not from the drugstore, it could be a little bit pricey, you know? So I think about it for a long time. And then if I start to like lose interest in it, I'll take it out of my cart and forget about it. But if it stays in the cart, this is where this last tip comes in handy. It's something that you know you really want, and it hasn't left the cart or it hasn't left your mind. You still think that's something I'd like to purchase. What I would say is, if you got to like this 5th tip and those other ones don't work for you, and you're using your makeup in different ways, you're trying different color combinations, you're rotating your makeup pouch daily or weekly, and you're still feeling like, oh, I'm not excited about makeup, then I would say go and get that product. Just do it. Just do it. It's something you've been wanting. Maybe you've been kind of saving for it. Maybe you have a birthday coming up, or there's a holiday or Mother's Day or something coming up. Or maybe you have points at Ulta, and that's what I love. When I have a lot of points at Ulta, I'll save them and save them. Hang on, my dog's sorry about that. My dog was going crazy. Okay, so after you've tried everything and nothing is working, treat yourself to something new. Sometimes we just don't purchase a lot of new items, and sometimes giving yourself that treat will give you that excitement back. And especially if it's a well thought out product that you know that you're going to use and probably love. And the great thing is if you get it at like Nordstrom or Macy's or Belk or Sephora or Ulta or any of those places, you can always return something if it's not meeting your needs. So when you get it home and you give it a good try and it doesn't work, you can always return it. So you really have nothing to lose. And sometimes we do need to refresh our makeup collection. And so that's a really big tip that works for me 90% of the time. I'm just gonna put on the good old peach fuzz. I've been using this all summer, but I don't feel like I'm in a rut yet. I use other things sometimes depending on the makeup, but 90% of the time, this is what I've had on my lips lately. Okay, so this is the finished look. I'm gonna bring you in close. Cali Contour Palette in medium dark. I've never had this one before. And how do I feel about it compared to the lighter one? I think I still like the lighter one more. I think this one's really pretty for this time of year. It's definitely bronzier, more golden than what I typically choose. But I'm really happy that I have it because it's a good makeup look. And I'm gonna show you the dress I'm wearing today. I showed this to you before. It's a Prana yoga dress, and it goes all the way down to like my ankles. It's a midi, it's super lightweight. And I put my hair up because it's hot, and I like the way the back of the dress looks. I hope you enjoyed hearing the tips I have to get out of a makeup rut. I've been in a makeup rut so many times, but usually I can pull out of it. I'm a makeup lover, and if you're here watching me, you probably are too. Makeup and skincare are just like my thing. I enjoy it. I enjoy the process of using it. I love trying new colors. I love being creative with them. So whenever I get in a rut and I'm finding that I'm not enjoying it as much anymore, one of these tips usually helps. So let me know what you do when you find yourself in a makeup rut. I think that we can all learn from each other. Just leave me a comment and let me know. Even if you just say hello and don't feel like sharing anything, that's fine too. But I love knowing who's watching, and I hope you all have a very blessed and beautiful day. I'll see you next time.